Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie. I'm Long Island's eating disorder specialist, and I post on this channel all about eating disorders, body image issues, and general mental health. So if any of that is interesting to you, definitely click the subscribe button down below. Also, I'm super excited. This month I will be releasing my podcast. The date will be announced very shortly. And if you want to be one of the first people to know, make sure you subscribe to my email list. In the description below, there is a link to do so. And what you'll also get there is my free recovery starter pack. So I'm really excited for that, and I think it'll be truly helpful for you. This video is all about coping right now during the pandemic, the COVID-19 outbreak and lockdown, and how we could really be working on coping throughout that. So today I have 10 tips for you to help you cope with it, in addition to some bonus tips if you stick around to the end. So make sure you do that. And of course, you might notice a different background. I am not in the office because of COVID-19. I'm doing everything from home. So that would explain all of that. All right, so without further ado, let's get into the topic of this video. My number one tip is don't feel guilty about what you feel sad about. I've been seeing this pattern amongst my clients or just people in general, that they feel guilty about the reasons why they're sad because it's not as just dramatic or provocative as what is making other people sad. For you, what might be making you sad is simply not being able to, go out to the movies and whatnot, and not be able to have that privilege. And that might be why you're sad, or, one of the reasons. And you may feel bad about that because while that is an annoying part of your life, you are fortunate enough to not have lost someone or had someone affected by the virus. And I get that, and I understand that discernment is something that is just a hard one to make, that you could still be sad. This is what I want you to know. You could still be sad regardless if you haven't lost someone. I'm glad that you haven't, if that is your case right now. And that doesn't take away from the people who were hurt by the virus in either a way of a family member being affected or passing from it. So really keep that in mind. Your sadness is not taking away from their sadness, and you're absolutely entitled to feel sad. Even if you feel like it's a silly thing to feel sad about, we're all given a different set of circumstances. Some of us are more fortunate in this moment than others, and you could recognize that, but you could still be sad at the same time. My second tip is to lean into your faith. If you are kind of not at the point that you know where your faith is right now, but you kind of have some idea, I would really encourage you to try to delve more into that. Faith really has been helping a lot of people. I know it's been helping myself get through this time of just not knowing what the heck is going on, what's going to happen next. So if you are experimenting with your faith, or maybe you already have a solid faith, lean into it. And if you're not, maybe this tip isn't for you, but I would encourage you to just consider it. See if this might be something that would apply to you and how it could apply to you. If you have any questions, let me know. Leave them in the comments down below, and I can certainly try my best to help you out with that. My third tip, and I really find this is such an important one, is to limit media. I know people are going insane with just having either the news on 24/7, or social media is constantly just in your face, and you're getting notifications and rumors and all these things that might be happening and all these unknowns that could be a possibility. It's really not helpful. It's just making everyone crazy and insane. You will get the news. I would encourage you to go right to the sources. Don't be watching all the interpretations of what the sources actually have said. So if you have any other questions about that, again, let me know. But really trying to not be consumed with either mainstream media or social media during this time, because I can guarantee you, and you probably already know if you are in one of these categories or both, that it's making you crazy. So definitely consider doing that. My number 4 tip is to get movement in. I know this might be a little weird coming from someone who works with eating disorders, but I always do talk about that it's very important to move your body. Our bodies are meant to move, and I don't feel like that is something that is anti-recovery. In fact, I believe that finding that balance and really being able to identify what movement feels good for you is part of recovery. So, of course, if you have different recommendations from a doctor, don't listen to this. Don't change anything that your doctor is recommending for you. But if you're not, I would encourage you to make sure that you're getting some movement in, even if it's just going for a walk, even if it's a little yoga, even if it's just some stretching, anything. But right now our bodies are probably a little bit more sedentary than normal, and that's okay. But it could really help make you feel more sluggish. And we don't want that, because that is kind of a breeding ground for mental health and depression. Feeling like tired and lacking of energy might make you not really be doing the things that you need to be doing for recovery and to feel better, and it could just be a rabbit hole. Plus, it's really going to be good for your immune system if you can keep your body going and keeping it so that it's on top of its game, and really be able to battle your immune system versus the world once everything gets back to normal. So movement I really find is important, but just make sure it's a balanced part of your life right now. 5, maintain structure as best you can. I understand that you're probably not going to school, you're probably not going to work as you normally would be doing, and that's okay. But that doesn't mean that we can't maintain some sort of structure, and that's really important to figure out how that might look for you. What I would encourage you to do is to try to make sure that you're going to sleep around the same time. Make sure you're waking up around the same time as when you would be working or going to school. Make sure that you're trying to maintain some sort of structure around your eating. I understand things might be a little different, that's okay, but figure out what from your ordinary everyday life could be incorporated right now to help you maintain that structure, because we tend to like structure as human beings, and that's going to be really helpful for you to maintain, and it's really a positive thing for our mental health to be able to identify and stick with structure. So figure out what that might mean for you. That kind of seamlessly brings me into my 6th tip, is really making sure that you're maintaining your sleep hygiene. And what I mean by that is I would encourage you to try to be going to sleep around the same time, trying to wake up around the same time. I understand that a lot of people are struggling with sleep right now. I hear this from a lot of my clients, myself, my family. I understand that this is a thing. So what's been happening, and I'll just give you a little overview, is our brains are working very rapidly to be adjusting to this current state of normalcy. And what's happening is our brain is rapidly trying to create new neural pathways. And if you don't really know what I'm talking about by neural pathways, I'll leave a link in a video to a video that I talk more about this. But our brains are really working very, very hard, and that is an exhausting thing for our brains to do. The whole reason why we develop neural pathways is that we don't have to make decisions and to keep developing new neural pathways in our brain. So that's a very tiresome thing to do, and it might be making you more tired during the day, maybe giving you some insomnia at night. It could just really be messing up with your sleep pattern. Additionally, it might be causing you to have some really vivid, weird dreams. I know I've been having bizarre dreams, very vivid, just because what we are told about dreams is that this is a way to process everything that your brain's trying to process. So our brain's trying to process it right now a lot, so you might be having some funky dreams. Do your best to maintain your sleep hygiene. Maybe this is a time to really improve your routines before bed and maybe in the mornings to try to help you make a big distinction between your day and night, especially now considering you may be working from home and it's kind of all blurred. So making sure that you know you have something in place so that your body knows when it's time for bed by and when it's time to wake up. My 7th tip is to really advocate for yourself when it comes to the amount of times that people are talking about all the things that are going on right now. I know I have had to assert this on multiple occasions, and it's no one's fault. It's just that we all have our different quota and limit, and if we're talking to a bunch of people about the same thing and then it's new for another person, they start wanting to talk about it. It's just a lot. And I know that I have hit my quota on multiple days of what I can talk about and how much I could continue talking about everything that's going on right now. And it could just be really exhausting. So figure out, and you'll know when that you start to feel like anxiety creeping up. That's really my cue. And I'll say, let's talk about something else. And I'll talk about, one day I want to go on a vacation again. But right now, obviously, there's nowhere to go because everything is closed. But that's what I'm doing right now, planning my next vacation whenever things do open up. So that's something that makes me happy. Figure out what makes you happy and what you could talk to different people about. and then you can really just shift the conversation to something that's more positive and constructive. That brings me to my 8th tip is, even though we're social distancing, it doesn't mean social isolation. So really making sure that you are maintaining your social relationships, and that might not look the same, and it will not look the same as it is on a normal basis. You're not going to be able to see people in person. But thank God we're in 2020 because we have so many resources available to us to really be able to connect without physically connecting. And you know what? Also, we are going into a beautiful time of the year. So if you maybe want to meet up with some friends, why can't you go to somewhere and socially distance in a backyard or at a water or wherever it is that you can do that? See if there's any way that you can maybe meet up with a couple of friends, but make sure you're taking proper precautions. You're wearing masks and you're socially distancing and all of that. See how you can continue your support and don't isolate. My number 9 tip is to maintain hope. This is so important. I know that with uncertain times, it can really lend you to feel hopeless and scared and not knowing what's happening next. And we don't really like not knowing and the uncertainty. And I know I'm not comfortable with it either. But I do have hope and faith that things will return to a sense of normalcy once again at some point. I don't know when that'll be. I don't know how it might look a little different, but I'm hoping that whatever that is, it'll be an okay thing to deal with. And maintaining hope, and that goes back to my maintaining faith and leaning into your faith. That for me, and hopefully if you believe in God, you believe this as well, or whatever you do believe in, God is good and God won't let this happen forever. So I truly believe that things will get back to normal or a better normal in the future. Number 10 is to make sure that you are maintaining treatment as a priority. I understand that right now there's a lot of things going on. You might be a little bit more strapped financially. So that is something that is very hard to kind of navigate how you can maintain your treatment, because treatment does cost money. I do understand that, but see how you might be able to maintain that. And really, I would encourage you, wherever you're at, if there is the resources available for you to make sure that you're continuing your treatment, make sure that that is a priority over something that might be not as much of a priority. So just make sure that treatment doesn't fall by the wayside, especially right now. It might be very easy because everything's all up in the air and different and changing. But this is really a time where mental health can really fester into poor mental health. So we don't want that. All right, so on to the bonus tips. Just an overview and kind of a more typical thing that I would talk about with regards to coping is to make sure you're using your coping skills. I've done a lot of videos on developing coping skills, so making sure that you're doing that. Maybe pick up a new hobby, build mastery. That is a whole DBT skill. You might feel like you're not able to do it, but what's beautiful about it is that you can build a skill. Any skill can be built. So work on building mastery. If you have questions about it, let me know. Pick up a hobby, you could do that. Work on deep breathing. I have a video about that and different breathing techniques that could be helpful for you. So that might be an option. And also gratitude. I really believe that looking through a lens of gratitude in this world is incredibly helpful, especially right now. While there's so many things that are different, there's still so many things that you could be grateful for, and it might even turn your brain to be able to focus on the things that, while things are different, there's some things that will return, and you could be grateful for that and renewed gratitude. Like, I know that I'm so grateful for when I could just order food for my grocery shopping and it just is there and not everything is out of stock and I don't have to compete for a delivery time. Like, I'm super excited for that. I'm super grateful that I've had that for so long, and I'm super grateful that I know I'll have that again. So that's going to give me a renewed sense of gratitude. That's just an idea, but using that, and I talked about that in other videos as well, so I'll leave all those links in the cards and whatnot so that you can really see them and hopefully get some use out of them. With all that said, I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, I would greatly appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up, because it would really help other people to find this video, and I believe there's some tips that could be helpful for anyone, and right now I think we all need it, so that would be really helpful. Let me know which tip really stood out for you that you might be going forward forward with and hopefully helping you out, leave them in the comments down below. You could click my face over here to subscribe to my channel, and I wish you wellness and health on your journey to finding your state of balance, and I will see you in my next video.